Special delivery just arrived for the American Shrimp Contest. We got Best of Show and we got Fan Favorite. So let's go over there. The American Shrimp Contest, they've been working hard getting it all set up. I think we have close to 40 entries, which honestly I think is really good. And so me and them are gonna walk over there. We'll show you what it's like. And this is what I want you guys to get hyped up about for Daytona. That's coming up in 3 months. Guys, get your shrimp ready. But let's go check it out. Let me just take a minute to talk about why this is so important to our hobby. So for the past, I want to say like 2 or 3 years, I've really been focused on like growing flip. We've expanded into nanofish. We've expanded into plants, snails, crayfish, all the things. And we've kind of taken our foot off the pedal with shrimp. And I feel like that the hobby has dwindled a little bit. And it's a hobby that I love so much. So I'm very passionate about bringing that fire back and also creating a safe place. Like when I got into the hobby, one thing that was really tough for me was finding a good place to buy shrimp. And so what I want to do through the American Shrimp Contest is create a place that, one, people can come show off their shrimp, but also have a way to verify like, hey, this is a United States breeder, and then a way to promote that so that there's more access to more breeders. And so we have some really cool ideas for the American Shrimp Contest, and this is just the beginning. So Chicago 2024 is the start of something special. So this was the show for us to come here, gauge it, take a look around at like what we're currently doing, because I've been out of it for like the last year, maybe year and a half, and now it's like I just want to dive back in. So there's a lot of things that I want to do. So far, I love what I see. We had a younger girl come in. I mean, she's college age, so like maybe like 20 years old. She brought one group to enter into the shrimp contest. She came over to our booth, bought some shrimp, and literally was almost in tears, like how excited she was. And it just sparks me again to like be like, man, like this hobby means so much. And like it's easy to say like, oh yeah, it means a lot to you because you have a business. No, like I didn't start a business to make money. I started a business because I absolutely love this hobby. And this is just another example of a way that we can give back and make this hobby even better and make it exciting for new people to get into it, and then they can get inspired. And so what do we have? 34 entries, close to 40. I wasn't far off. I guess we're closer to 30, but 34 entries. And these are all bred in the United States by US breeders. And this is all to grow the hobby here in the United States. So that's what's super exciting. And so we'll just give you a little tour around. We'll probably do a dedicated video on this. I know me and Em are going to be filming a lot in here tomorrow and the next day. But it's just cool to see the hobby in the United States come together and put on a show like this. We are here at Aquashella, American Shrimp Contest, with one of the founders, because the other founder of Shrimp Envy didn't want to be in this video. I don't know why, you know, but anyway, we're here with Rob from Shrimp Envy. So first of all, Rob, tell us about your business.
Been keeping shrimp for about 10 years.
Nice.
And we love shrimp. It's been our passion. So about 5 years ago, we started Shrimp Envy. There was just kind of a hole in the market for good shrimp food in the United States back then.
And what is Shrimp Envy?
So
what do you guys do?
We make handmade, all-natural shrimp food.
What?
You know, and
hey, you can find it at flipaquatics.com.
Find it at flipaquatics.com.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. So we've been involved with the shrimp contest for 2 years now, and I'm one of the judges. So I get the honor of judging everybody's shrimp and checking them out.
Did you already judge yet?
We already did the judging this morning.
What'd you think?
There's some good shrimp, some stuff I haven't seen before too. So that's
saying
always exciting
something.
when we get something new at the American Shrimp Contest.
Because you also breed shrimp, right?
Right. I breed shrimp, and I also am involved with some other competitions.
Yeah, like what?
Judge the International Shrimp Competition.
Yeah, we'll give a little shout out to the International Shrimp Contest.
Yeah.
So, Therese Neal does that. She's a good friend of mine, so shout out to her.
It's my honor to be a judge and to hang out and represent our business and the hobby. So, you know, I just thank everybody and thank Fleb. And
what does the American Shrimp Contest mean to the hobby, in your opinion?
It's very important in my opinion because it will only help the hobby grow. And it's inspiration to new shrimp breeders to see the sky's the limit in what they could do as far as breeding and crossbreeding and just having pride in their shrimp and bringing them out here to show everybody. So I feel it's one of the more important things we do here.
Nice. And then if you could give one piece of shrimp advice to everyone watching, what would be the one piece of advice you would give?
Stability.
Stability is key.
Stability.
What does stability look like for you?
So shrimp do not like temperature changes, pH changes, TDS changes rapidly. So you want it to be stable. You got to maintain your temperature, pH, and TDS when you're doing your water changes.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, hey, Rob at Shrimp Envy, check them out. They got great food again. Find it at flipaquatics. I'm here with the one, the only. Some will argue that he is the OG in the shrimp keeping community.
There's been some that have been around longer than me. We've been about the same.
I mean, I think you were there before me.
Maybe like 6 months.
So bipedshrimp.com, Erik Lucas is like, you know what? Some have called you the glue that holds the shrimp hobby together.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I am pretty level-headed in the hobby.
You are very level-headed.
And I do hear from a lot of people on a lot of things, but it takes all of us. It really does.
So, Erik, what you mainly do wholesale now, right? Like for pet stores and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we still obviously have the website, which has been around forever. But a few years ago, we transitioned into doing a little more wholesale to stores, and it's really grown. So most of the shipments we send out are wholesale to stores now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. So how did you actually get into the hobby?
I've always had aquariums. I grew up, my parents always had aquariums in the house. And I had an aquarium with guppies, mollies, platies, and I was getting kind of tired of it. And I don't even know what made me do it, but I went on eBay looking at stuff, and cherry, this was, 15 years ago. So you know how it was. There was cherry shrimp, maybe yellow shrimp, and that was about it. And I was like, these things are kind of cool. So I ordered cherry shrimp, got them in, and right away I was like, oh, I love these things. So I made a post on, I think it was Craigslist at the time, and I gave away all the fish that were in the tank.
No way.
Yeah, and it was like 100. It was a 55-gallon big tank. And I gave them all away, and I had the fire reds, or with cherry shrimp at that point, for maybe a month, and then I saw orange-eyed blue tigers, and back then they were like $50. I think it was like Alpha Pro Breeders was the only ones that had them, and they were like $50 a shrimp.
Yeah,
and I went on Craigslist and saw a guy in San Jose, which I'm Sacramento, California, had some for like $12. And it's actually a guy that's still in the hobby, and he's been around forever. And he has them all. And I didn't go to his place before. When I've heard he has all the aquariums in his garage. But I got the orange-eyed blue tigers, and from there it was a 55-gallon aquarium. I took the cherry reds out, put them in a different tank, had the 55-gallon for the blue tigers, and within like 3 or 4 months had like 1,000 of them.
Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah, and like I said, back then they were like $50 for one shrimp.
It just took off.
Yes, and so I sold them for like $20 on Facebook. We could sell on Facebook back then. Craig, you name it, I was selling them.
Yeah.
The forums, back then Facebook wasn't as big, it was mainly the forums.
Yep.
And I took all that money and reinvested it into my business and traded shrimp with people. Some of the other old people, I traded my blue tigers for, they had carbon rillies, which were new at the time or whatever.
Yeah.
And just kept trading, and eventually had like 30 tanks, and now I have about 200 tanks at the shop.
That's crazy. Just thinking of the shrimp hobby, I know what it means to me, but like, what does it mean to you? Like, I know that you said like you got them and you just were like all in, like these are awesome. So like, why? That's what people ask me, like, why shrimp?
I've always been drawn to aquariums. Like I said, I grew up in a house where my parents always had, I remember raising guppies with my mom when I was a little kid. We'd take them to the pet store and we'd get like 25 cents credit and use that to pay for the food or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, my nephew was recently born when I started getting into the hobby, and he was young and he loved them too. So it was something for us to share together. And he, like I said, he was, a year old and, 2 years old and 3 years old, and he still enjoyed them. And it was just fun for us, something to do together. Back then I usually have them a couple days a week when my sister worked, and my off days I'd take them and we'd go do stuff. So he loved the shrimp, and I didn't ever intend it to become a business.
It just happened.
It just, I couldn't help it. I was selling so many shrimp, it had to be a business. So, I just, I like the people in the hobby. Yeah. As much as I don't like being on camera and doing things, I do like giving talks, just because I like sharing my knowledge with other people. And, there's a million ways to do things. And a lot of times when people just go online and search something, they don't they'll read something and they think, well, this is the way to do it, and there's no other right way to do it. And in the shrimp hobby, there's so many ways to do things.
100%.
That's, I mean, there's a lot of reasons I enjoy it, but those are the main reasons early on,
Yeah, just so you guys know, like Erik has done so much for this hobby in so many different ways. Like you used to have a get together every year, like it's like cookout, right?
Yeah, we used to do a get together, and COVID obviously came along, and I'd like to get it started back up again. But back then it was just, it was like the first year we did, I think you were there, the first year we did here, Chicago, when like Vin and some other big breeders came over. And there was like 50 hobbyists from around the country all came in.
Yeah.
We don't see that at the shows like this anymore.
We're going to try to get it back to that goal.
But we had like 50 hobbyists here, and I kind of wanted to, I think I'd already done a couple of our get-togethers or barbecues, whatever we called them at the time. But yeah, we'd get 40, 50 people. I mean, we had one year where we had people from like 10 states come to my house, and people were sleeping on inflatable beds, and that's when I think the hobby was at its best. I mean, I still enjoy the hobby and love the hobby today, but I would love to see it get back to where there's more camaraderie between everybody that's involved, the businesses, the hobbyists, and just get together and have a good time. And like I used to always tell people, where else are you going to go in your daily life where you're even going to come across one other shrimp keeper? And if you do, how are you going to know there's, you may go to the grocery store and the guy in front of you keeps shrimp, but you're not going to talk about it and never know that he keeps shrimp.
Yeah.
You can come to a place where there's 50 of you, and all you do is talk about shrimp keeping, and you talk about life and everything. So it's a good way to get together with other like-minded people, and I'd like to start doing it again. It just hasn't worked out yet, but I would like to try to do. Yeah, life's a lot busier now.
Well, as far as the American Shrimp Contest, what do you think that means to the community?
I think it's important for people to participate. I was actually very surprised with the quality of the shrimp at this contest.
Yeah, because you're one of the judges. He's the lead judge. We won't say one of the judges.
Yeah, so normally when you score a group of 7 or 8 shrimp, or groups of 7 or 8 groups of shrimp, maybe 1 or 2 are really nice, and then the other ones you kind of already know aren't going to place well.
Yeah.
There was one group with 7 or 8 entries where from shrimp, group 1 to group 7 on my scorecard was only a 3-point difference.
Dang.
And they were all graded really well. So I think that's a really good sign for our hobby. And I think it's just important for the community. I know the first time we had the big international show here in the USA, I didn't enter, but I went and I helped and volunteered and did everything. And after I got, I was like, man, I should have entered.
Yeah, why not?
Like you have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
It's not like it's embarrassing if you lose. Like they broadcast, oh, Erik or Rob, you got a 3 out of 50, or nobody. It's just it helps grow the hobby because you can't see it, but there's right over here is where the contest is, and all day there's been people constantly in there looking at everything.
It's cool.
And probably 90% of those people didn't even know these things existed for aquariums.
Yeah. It is cool.
And it's crazy, like a big show like this, it's all aquariums, and all these people know about aquariums and love aquariums. And we've been doing these shows for 7, 8 years now, and you still get people come up, I didn't know these were for freshwater. I didn't know these were available.
Yeah.
They see the colors and they think these must be saltwater.
Saltwater, for sure.
And you're like, no, these are freshwater. I'm like, oh my God, I've had aquariums for 30 years. I've never even heard of these guys.
Yeah.
So, it's nice to see people like that come along that have been in this hobby forever and still have it. They get that initial enjoyment like we did the first time when we saw them and the first time we got them,
Yeah. It is a lot of fun. So one last question, because I know you got people here that probably want to talk to you. As far as shrimp keeping, what's one piece of advice that you could give to everyone watching?
Honestly, when I give talks, my biggest thing is if your tank is operating fine, you have shrimp are living, the babies are doing all right, pay absolutely zero attention to what I have to say or what anybody else has to say. If you're having problems in your tank, then listen,
Yeah.
I remember early on in the hobby, you'd always get, somebody's like, oh, my tank's doing great, TDS at 240 or whatever, and somebody'd be like, oh no, your TDS needs to be 320. And then they change it all to 320 and everything dies.
Everything does, yeah.
It's like, just leave, if everything's working fine, just leave it. Other thing would be don't overfeed. I see that more than anything. Yet, people have 10 shrimp in their tank and they put a 2-inch pellet in there every day. Like that's the equivalent of us eating 80 pounds of food a day. We will probably eat a lot, but we don't eat 80 pounds a day, So that's the main thing, that's the overfeeding, which causes problems in the tanks. And other thing too is, not washing your hands before you put them in your tanks. When I first started, I had a tank of Crystal Blacks. It was like my 3rd tank. Back then, those were $20, $25.
Oh yeah.
I spent $800 and had a whole nice aquarium of them. And my parents' dog had flea medication on it. And I love dogs. You show me a dog, I'm going to be petting with it, rolling on the ground with it. And I would pet it and went back, went to my house, went in my room for whatever reason, was like, oh, a dead shrimp, whatever. I can't remember what exactly it was, but I used the net in my hand, went in the water with the net to get it out. and within like 5 minutes, everything was on its back dying.
Oh man. That's
So,
terrible.
you know, just to wash your hands before you
careful.
get in your tank, and don't overfeed. That's a big one. That's probably the most common thing is people overfeed.
100%. Well, guys, Erik is seriously the nicest guy in the world. If you're ever at one of these trade shows, Buy Pet Shrimp is there. Come see Erik. He's a super nice guy, super knowledgeable. He's been in the hobby just as long, if not longer than me. And we plan on doing a lot of things with the American Shrimp Contest and really try to build this hobby back, at least to what it used to be when we were like at
the heyday of the
Yeah,
hobby.
the heyday. So it's a lot of fun. Erik, thank you so much for doing the interview
no problem.
and being a part of the American Shrimp
No problem.
Contest.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with one of 2 organizers for the American Shrimp Contest. This is Grant Eder with the Garden of Eder. His wife, Shelby, she's over here behind the camera, pregnant. They are absolutely like necessity when it comes to the American Shrimp Contest. Without them, this show would not be what it is. So huge shout out to these guys and all they do. But we're getting ready to announce some awards. Grant's gonna take care of that. He's the face man of this whole operation. And so we're gonna go over there, we're gonna check out what's going on and see who won all the awards for the American Shrimp Contest. So Grant, you go ahead and take it away, we'll follow you.
All right, let's
And,
go.
We'll get everyone over here.
I want to give a big shout out to start off to Aquashella for putting on this show, for giving us this stage to put on an amazing display of American-bred freshwater shrimp for all of these people to see, not just shrimp breeders and keepers, but a lot of new attendees. I especially like seeing the saltwater people think that these are saltwater and that maybe they need a freshwater tank to keep some more color in their house. So also big thanks to flipaquatics for sponsoring the show, Shrimp Envy, and Ryan Hoagland, as well as Erik Lucas for judging. So to start it off, we've got the first category is the Neocaridina Category. A lot of times this is one of the hardest entries because a lot of people keep Neocaridina. First off, we got 3rd place, Willow Phillips. 2nd place, Varun. And then we got 1st place, Teresa Stumfield. You are here, congratulations. Then we have our 2nd category, which is the Crystal Category. We've got 2nd place again, Varun, congratulations. And then 1st place is going to go to Chu Lee. And then we have category 3, this is Taiwan Bees. 3rd place is also Chu Lee. 2nd place is Han Yan Wu. And then 1st place, we have Clint Davis. And then we have the Tiger category. We only have 1st place with the orange-eyed royal blue tigers, Jacob Waters. And then we've got the Tai Bee category, category 5. 3rd place, I'm not gonna try to say this name, I'll butcher it. Congratulations, thank you for participating with the Black Fancy Tiger Shrimp. And then we've got 2nd place in the category for Tai Bees, Willis Lin with his Fancy Red Tigers. And then 1st place, Han Yan Wu with his Fancy Red Tigers. And then we've got category 6. This is the Morph category for all of the shrimp that have a different color eye than normal, but they are also hybridized. So not like a pure eye, orange-eyed red tiger or one of the blue tigers. These are crossbred. So 3rd place, we've got Chu Li. 2nd place, Han Yan Wu. And then 1st place, Chu Li once again. This is honestly the hardest category of them all. This is the TaiTai Bee category, where all the new innovative double pigment shrimp all enter and compete together. We have 3rd place, Willis Lin. 2nd place, Chu Li. And then 1st place with his boa pintos, we have Clint Davis. Then we also have People's Choice or Fan Favorite, which was voted amongst all of you guys. So thank you for participating and helping out. We have for this year's Fan Favorite, Han Yan Wu with his Galaxy Fish Bones. Congratulations, Han Yan Wu. And now for all the marbles, this is best of show, the best of the best. Congratulations, Clint Davis with his boa pintos. So congratulations, Clint. You win the $200 cash prize, the paper award, the plaque, and you've got to defend that title in Daytona. So we'll see you then. Thank you, everyone.